Hello and welcome to another Just Flying episode and the next leg of the Highway 1 road trip. After the totally surprising tail dragger landing last time, where everything went way too well, thought we might try another one. So we've got the Thunder Beaver out. At least the weather has improved today. Blue skies, wind is only 5 knots, so that's light enough to not really worry about. So let's do some beavering. And up and away from there, which was Otaki, and today we'll be heading for NZKP Kaputaroa. We'll need a slight detour off Highway 1 to get there, but there is some logic behind that. The next road trip video, that can then be Kaputaroa to Fox Pine, which is a nice short distance and maybe a good one for a semi kind of request from my mate Aid, who does watch these videos, but that's next time. I'll explain then, although there may be helicopters involved, which is never a good idea. But back to being a tour guide today, and yes, somewhere on the left up here is a place called the Hearts Charitable Trust. Now, first glance, it looks like some kind of horse sanctuary, but oh no, it's not just that. From their advertising pamphlet thing, it says, "The horse will move you through the steps of revealing your true self. Let the horse teach you to become more emotionally, physically and mentally aware." For God's sake, the fake Indian gurus were bad enough in the last video at the meditation centre, but now we've bypassed humans entirely and you can now go to a life coach horse. I mean, it's a horse. I am beginning to worry about you lot in New Zealand, even though I suppose a horse could tell you how to glue your life back together. So next up, on the right we have a little township called Manukau. That's home to roughly 500 people and possibly a few wise looking horses, orange robes who smell slightly of Tibetan curries or so, I don't know. But the wise horse probably should go and have a word with a local shop about their name. Billed as the Manukau store, the last dairy before Wellington. Well, to start with, it's on the wrong side of the road for people travelling south to the capital. But the second part, the last dairy before Wellington. Well, okay, that's true as long as you ignore the Ruakawa Dairy Otaki Beach store probably sells dairy products. There's a big New World that will sell dairy stuff. Faith Fresh Farm Milk Outlet, that might be another one. Then we have Waimea Dairy and also Village Dairy as well. Why have they got a dead dog in their picture? Okay, yeah, probably just asleep, isn't it? Dreaming about the huge amount of dairy places you can go to after you pass the last dairy before Wellington. As for the shop, though, in a review by Sue Marilyn, and spelling Sue that way, you just know she's going to be a little bit weird if you ever meet her. But she says This store is a true Kiwi store. The owner is, Sonia is a true Kiwi as well. A true Kiwi as opposed to what? A horse? I might back the horse to have better grammar than you. I'm thinking this whole area might be one where you lock the doors on your car and pass through as quickly as possible. Try not to make eye contact with anybody. Then next up we have little village of Oahu, which appears to be so insignificant that my X-Plane overlay hasn't bothered putting any houses there. Then just beyond that is the town of Levine, where we'll pass by a place called Peak Productions. Not sure what they do or what they produce, but if you click on them, you get a picture of what appears to be them being raided by the police. I'm thinking that if this was my business, I might be wanting to add a slightly different photograph to Google Maps. One that didn't make me look like my business was some kind of criminal enterprise. I don't know, maybe that's just me though, don't know. Yeah, Levine is also home to a place called the Tender Tips Company, which I totally misread the first time I noticed that name. And there's also an intercity bus stop there too. I know that because I once stopped at it on an intercity bus. Plus there's also a shop called Number One Shoes and Hannah's. Now, not knowing what Hannah's are, I've looked them up, and it appears to be that Hannah's are a New Zealand shoe manufacturer, so effectively that shop name reads Number One Shoes and Shoes. But then in a review about the Shoes and Shoes shop by Lynn Zimmerman, she says, the very helpful Louise 2, I'm now confused, was Louise number 1 on her lunch break at the time or something? But the very helpful Louise 2 was so helpful, yes, you've already mentioned the helpfulness, Lynn, and she was so patient with someone who has the most difficult feet. Difficult feet. You're not a horse, are you, Lynn? Can someone check the exact number of feet that Lynn possesses? And if she tried to show Louise too how to connect with herself on a more spiritual level, while perhaps snacking on some hay? Can we go somewhere normal next time? This is turning into a bit of a strange flight. But one thing that caught my eye was Cafe Anatolia, which sounded interesting, as I definitely do like a bit of Turkish cuisine. And Fayroza Davids in a review seemed to like it a lot as well. And yeah, after saying that we were a group of 25 for Sunday afternoon lunch. Now, glad Fayroza enjoyed it, 5 stars worth of enjoyed it actually, but if I'm one of Fayroza's friends, I might be putting in a request that next time that we all go out for lunch, could it be somewhere big enough where we can all actually sit down? And you're not seating 25 people in there, are you? Unless the group usually eats standing up like a horse. For God's sake. Yeah, thankfully we're nearly at our destination now, and there's nothing else on the map to... Okay, over on the left is the Mongolia Park alpacas. No, not going to read it, not clicking on it, definitely not. Okay, how is that your profile picture. What has that got to do with alpacas? I need a cup of coffee. That's the airstrip down there. Runway seems a bit shorter than I remembered, or shorter than I thought it was going to be. Not sure I'd call a Beaver a proper short field operations plane, but you don't need massive amounts of runway to land it. So I'm going to say we should be fine with that one. We'll find out in a moment, won't we? We're not going to make too tight of a turn, so I can give myself plenty of room to get lined up and settled in and everything before we do try our landing. Especially as this is not a regular aircraft I use. Probably should use it more. It flies well, do like the sounds. It looks nice enough too, but yeah, it is a very good aircraft, but it's still a tail dragger, and having a wheel at the front, that's almost always going to be preferable to me when I'm making a choice of what to go and have a little flight in. Seems like there's plenty of fields around here. Not sure if those are for growing things or if it's grazing land for sheep and cows and alpacas, but not seeing any horses. We may have crossed the boundary where your life coaching needs are no longer done by a species fitting into the genus of Equidae. Nice to have it back to normal again. Although if in the next video I find somewhere to realign my aura, which is hosted by a cabbage, then that's it. I'm off. Going to take up online chess or something instead, or knitting or horse riding. No, forget I said that. No, definitely not horse. Right, there's a bit of a pathway road kind of thing just before we get to the runway. No need to be trying to hit right at the threshold, so we can make sure we're high enough as we cross over that. Okay, I think. Probably no chance I'm going to replicate the Stinson landing, but yeah, hopefully it'll do. Come on. Okay, little bit of a bounce. We're still going in the right direction though. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, slight bounce, possibly not the softest touchdown ever, but yeah, I'm not going to complain too much about that. We're the right way up, no ground loops, quite happy with that one. That will do nicely, so let's just park here and that will do. Okay, cool, we made it. Next leg complete. Right, I'll see you again when we do another road trip video soon.